Many men today prefer to stay single rather than get involved with a woman, and in some cases, this is even understandable. That's what today's video is about. For those who are new here, I am Safira, and I deal with social topics, but also with the psychology of gender behavior. I think we need to look at this more closely, because then the genders can understand each other better and empathize with one another. As always, subscribe if you like my choice of topics, and don't forget the bell so you are notified about every new video. Follow me on Instagram if you have topic suggestions or any other ideas. Just as there are many women who prefer to stay single, there are also many men who say, "Being alone is better. I don't need a woman. My life is more relaxed without one." There are different reasons. Some prefer to focus on their own life or career, or they simply want to wait until they find the absolutely right one. Or they prefer to stay alone because they are frustrated by the pattern with which some women choose men today. Keywords like high expectations, contradictory behavior, or overestimation of self come up. As you know, I have been dealing with this topic for a long time. It would be too easy to dismiss this as the whining of men who simply don't know how to behave to find a woman, or who are too lazy, or who simply don't want to invest the work that a relationship requires. And of course, those men exist too. But my impression is that the problem goes a bit deeper for many. At least that's what countless comments from you show me when it comes to these topics. I have picked out 3 comments that summarize the impressions of many here very well. Of course, they are not representative of the whole community watching my videos. They are personal anecdotes, but they are thoughts that keep coming up and concern many people. In online dating, as an average man, you always feel like the leftover option kids and so on lead women to overestimate themselves and men to lose all self-respect. My experiences with dating profiles were like every third one almost said, "I am a strong, confident woman who knows what she wants, and I hate superficiality." The next sentence was, "The man writes first." And the final sentence was, "If you are under 180 centimeters, don't even bother writing to me." I think many search too strictly along their guideline. Everyone has an ideal image of a partner, but in practice, the room for flexibility seems almost non-existent for most women. The tolerance tends towards 0. What bothers me is not even this understandable search pattern, but the inauthentic behavior. It is almost never clearly communicated what the ladies are actually looking for, not honest and not transparent. Everyone wants to appear in a good light, but gives up authenticity, and enters an odyssey of misunderstandings or mismatches. It is extremely hard to meet the expectations of women, and yes, it is frustrating. I always try to understand and analyze both sides. On one hand, the women, and how their decisions in partner selection are influenced, and on the other hand, the men, what this triggers in them, and what impact it has on them. And the reason why many men today prefer to stay single is, for me, connected to the following main points, which I have not yet addressed on this channel. And as always, this is only my subjective impression. I could be wrong. First, as this viewer already noted, some women lack honest communication, and above all, honesty with themselves. Some women are world champions at lying to themselves. This also has to do with pressure from other women. Among female friends, there is a certain pressure, consciously or unconsciously, about how they should be and what they should value in a man. And yes, as adult women, they also put this pressure on themselves. For many women, it is important what others think of them, what other women think of them. This trait is much more pronounced among women than among men. Women always want to be validated, confirmed. Women often compare themselves with other women. It is partly nature. And as always, I am not talking about every single woman in the world. But generally, how does one appear in front of their friends with the partner? Do they approve of him? Do they find him cool? Do they envy her for him? A woman may actually like a man, but her friends see it differently, and then she rejects him. We often hear women say, "I'm not someone for whom the man's job matters." But many are not completely honest with themselves. Otherwise, we wouldn't have all those studies on hypergamy, which clearly show that women tend to choose sideways or upward in the socioeconomic ladder, while men choose sideways or downward. The socioeconomic status is a decisive factor for a woman. A new study came out recently confirming this. The pressure on men's income is increasing in order to find a wife. Income has a lot to do with status. Even the Süddeutsche Zeitung wrote about it. Men's chances of marriage depend increasingly on their salary. Money and status significantly increase men's chances. If they crawl on the lower end of the financial ladder, they are far more likely to end up alone. One should not choose a man purely based on status or income. But considering motherhood and the dependency that can arise, it is understandable. I have emphasized this many times, but few women admit this openly, yet we see it in real life. I have never met a woman who says, "My partner's job is very important to me." If they admit it, it is usually in anonymous surveys. Sometimes you don't have to communicate everything 100% directly, true, but certain things should be addressed in the beginning. What you expect in a relationship and what you don't. It's not unwise. So why should men choose women who do not honestly say what they expect from a partner and a relationship? Here is my current video, by the way, about green flags. In women, I also discuss extremely positive signs, and if you see them in a woman, she is very likely a valuable person and a great partner for a long-term relationship, a keeper. Watch it. It might interest you. Even when women admit these things, their views can still change under the influence of their female social circle, because it does matter to them what their friends think of him. I can also speak from my own experience. It was always important to me what my friends thought of my partner, especially in younger years. And I can imagine this plays a role in how some women choose partners. For men, on the other hand, what their colleagues think of their new girlfriend doesn't matter much. No one really cares. Men don't worry about how the girlfriend appears to the colleagues. He has a girlfriend he likes. Yes, she must be attractive to him. Men also have standards. But that's it. This brings us to point 2. Expectations. Men also have expectations of women, but they are usually clear about what they want. Women's expectations, however, are often not clear to themselves. They think it doesn't matter if he has a career, how he looks, how tall he is, and then suddenly it does matter. They just don't admit it to themselves and attribute it to other reasons. And yes, some men have unrealistic expectations too, but overall, men simply do not have as many points on their checklist as women do. And these expectations may also be part of an internet and media phenomenon. In the past, not every woman heard from thousands of TikTok or Instagram channels, or read in countless articles what she should expect from a man and what the modern man must be. Back then, it was just her 5 friends influencing her. Today, multiplied by social media, with the opinions of hundreds of thousands added, it has become much harder. This can unconsciously affect selection behavior. This is a hypothesis. Tell me what you think. It is not only higher salaries, education, and status among women today. Social media and dating apps have made women more demanding. It has multiplied. In the past, Some had extremely high standards, others lower. Now almost all have similar high expectations. I asked you men in a community post whether you feel disadvantaged in the dating market because of your job, and I thank you for the many answers. Of course, they're not representative of everyone, but most go in the direction of what we are discussing today. There are indeed some women who lose interest immediately when they hear a certain profession, or others who are much more interested. Men appear more attractive depending on the job. Women do not look down on certain jobs. They simply orient themselves to what is socially valued. It is totally okay not to lower your expectations and to have an ideal image of a partner. But if the man does not bring the complete package, he becomes the problem again. Point 3, why some men may turn away from modern women: contradictions. Modern women carry many contradictions within themselves, and many men find this too complicated. As one user wrote, "He should be alpha, but only until she says no. Then he should be sensitive, considerate, a great listener. At work, he should be tough, competitive, successful. He should iron, change diapers, and still have enough time for the family. Let's see how he manages that." Or, "She wants to be confident, but the man should still make the first move, and if he doesn't match her ideal height, it's over, even if everything else fits." Another point is overestimation of self. Women today are constantly told by society, "You are unique, you are wonderful, you are perfect as you are. You never make mistakes." If a man doesn't see that, he is an idiot. Could this constant societal validation lead to women not questioning themselves anymore, even in dating? Could internalizing this affect their selection behavior? I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. Tell me what you think. Maybe this validation prevents a woman from being critical of herself. The step toward overestimating oneself is small. Maybe she behaves in ways that are not optimal. Maybe she isn't honest. Maybe she always points the finger at others. Why would a man want to be with a woman who sees herself as flawless? It would be more realistic to be open in the dating market, to give the other person more flexibility, and not to approach everything so uncompromisingly. That would probably bring more people together and make more people happy. It would also help if women communicated more openly and honestly what they really want. And if they themselves knew what they want, this would clear up many misunderstandings and save people time. As I said, I can understand women and their expectations. But I can also understand men who say, "I can't deal with modern women, I'd rather stay alone." I find it sad that some men therefore form a negative general image of women. Not all women are like that. Not all are confused or dishonest. It has simply become more difficult to find the one woman, the unicorn among the many. These are just my thoughts. I'm interested in yours, your feelings, experiences, perspectives. Let me know in the comments. I'm looking forward to an exciting discussion. As always, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Take care. Ciao.